We are the Watchers, custodians of the vast tapestry of existence woven throughout this draconian universe. Having ascended to the zenith of enlightenment, boredom has become our constant companion. Thus, we turn our attention to the lives of other, less elevated beings, seeking to live vicariously through their tales. Among these beings, humans stand out as the most captivating and perilous. Humans, the enigmatic and destructive inhabitants of this realm, have piqued our interest the most. As the Watchers, we meticulously created a database of the most enthralling life stories we've encountered. It is our pleasure to share these narratives with you. However, we must caution you. The stories we have chosen to archive are not for the faint of heart. They are, in essence, quintessentially draconian. Our compendium grows exponentially, with thousands upon thousands of stories being added by the second. These narratives will leave you yearning for more tales from this draconian universe. Fear not, though. You know where to find us. Enjoy your sojourn, and we eagerly await your return. We only ask that you extend the invitation to others, that they too may partake in the extraordinary stories within this draconian universe. As always, safe travels, dear traveler.
I used to harbor a fear of the rain. The deafening claps of thunder, the frigid pellets of rain, and the blinding flashes of lightning held a grip on my childhood, amplified by the perpetually overcast Seattle sky. When I was a child, the weather seldom changed, and I distinctly recall a 3-month stretch where rain dominated, ranging from intense downpours to gentle drizzles. If I were to describe it, I'd say it was as though the Seattle sky had gone into a coma and was just stuck within this cycle of rain. Eventually, as I aged, I became accustomed to the weather. No longer would I cower to my parents' room, hide under the covers, or put on headphones. I grew to enjoy it. First, it was just the sound of pouring rain. It sounded soothing, as though it were the lullaby of Mother Nature. Then the claps of thunder and lightning grew to be exhilarating, hitting me with a wave of adrenaline, and it would give me waves of energy I didn't know I had. Soon, I would find myself outside, a lot, amongst the rain, thunder, and lightning. It soon became my safe space. Whenever my parents would argue and yell at one another, I took to the rain. Whenever I would get bullied in school, I took to the rain. When I was rejected by my crush in high school, I took to the rain. When I was laid off, I took to the rain. It brought me comfort and serenity in the moments within my life that I needed it most. As an only child, it kept me company growing up, and it continues to do so in my adult life. I've tried making friends, fitting in, but it always ended up with me in the rain. I'm not telling you all this so you can feel bad for me. I don't need your pity. I personally wouldn't have it any other way. Because one day, sitting alone in the rain, I realized that I wasn't alone. That I had never been alone. The rain had always been there for me. Now and forever. I first made the realization when I was in high school. It was English class, and one of the students were having a bad day, so naturally they let out their frustrations on me. My parents weren't exactly swimming in money. In fact, it was the exact opposite, where many times they were living paycheck to paycheck, just struggling to put a roof over our heads. Due to our circumstances, they couldn't afford to take me to doctor appointments, and as a result, I grew up, for most of my childhood, and going into my high school, navigating a blurry world. As a child, I thought my vision was just like everyone else, that everyone's vision resembled looking through a smudged window. However, it later became apparent to me when teachers would ask me to read off the whiteboards, or were using the whiteboards to write something out, that something wasn't right. Sometimes the teachers would call on me to read the board, and I would embarrassingly walk up to the board and read off it, while the rest of the class laughed at my struggles. In high school, I finally received my first pair of glasses. I was excited to finally be able to see the world like everyone else. I took it as me being one step closer to being normal. However, little did I know that wearing a pair of glasses would only make me an even bigger target for the other students to pick on me. The glasses I had would eventually be broken within a month of me having them, when a student thought it would be absolutely hilarious to throw a basketball into my face at full force. I remember bleeding from my nose and staring down at my glasses that had been split in two. The teacher said that I should have been paying attention and that I perhaps needed a stronger prescription when he witnessed the incident. I didn't cry. I picked myself and my pair of glasses up and wrapped it up in some tape to help keep it together as it crookedly sat on my face. My father and mother were furious with the school. They screamed and yelled at the principal, asking him to take action, but all he said was,
"The teacher said that it was your son's own fault, that he was zoning out. As you know, he struggled with this throughout his schooling. I'm not sure what it is that I can do."
The drive home was just filled with my parents yelling at one another about how I turned out, how I would never be able to fit into the world, and me never fighting back. The incident of my broken glasses would only act as fuel to a larger fire, where I would get made fun of and picked on throughout my days in school. As mentioned, there were times when students would let out their frustrations on me, and that is exactly what happened during my sophomore year in high school. In English class, Andre Davis was his name. I had heard through the grapevine that his parents had recently divorced and that he had been living with his father for the past few months. Unfortunately for him, his mother was the breadwinner, and the father made significantly less, which meant they had to move out of the home they were renting and into a much smaller apartment. For Andre, this meant his world was falling apart, and he needed an outlet to get rid of his frustrations. I was that outlet. He must have been having a particularly tough day, because the moment he saw me, with my taped-up glasses, he smirked and immediately walked towards me. He snatched the glasses off my face and made fun of my inability to see well as the class laughed. The teacher had to step out to deal with a student who was acting out, and so I was left alone in a class filled with wolves to fend for myself. I sat quietly, waiting for the laughter to die down before asking for my glasses back. Andre gets in my face and stares me down. "Make me," he says. I knew he was looking for a fight, looking for any excuse to escalate things. I contemplate what I should do, remembering what my parents had told me about fighting back. It's something I've never done before. I looked to the classroom window. The blinds were closed, but I could hear the raindrops hitting the window and pavement outside. Everything around me faded into the background, and all I could hear was the rain. What do I do? I asked, not realizing that I had said the words aloud for the class to hear. Andre laughs at me.
"You've really lost it. Who are you talking to?"
I ignored his muffled voice and continued my conversation. "Please, tell me what to do," I say. However, I'm met with silence. The voices within the class come back into focus, and all I hear is Andre's laugh again and again. In that moment, I stood up from my desk and snatched my glasses from his hand, having heard enough. It had split in two again, but a little more Gorilla Tape would fix it. As I attempted to sit back down, Andre pushes me to the ground. My knees scrape against the floor and bring about some pain, but more importantly, my glasses fly out my hands and land into the floor. I reach for them, but Andre wastes no time. He quickly stomps on my glasses several times until they were broken into several different pieces. Not even Gorilla Duct Tape would have saved them at this point. In that moment, for the first time, I felt a burning and overwhelming sensation within my chest. My eyes began to water and my fists balled up as my body trembled. I was overcome with a sadness and anger like I've never felt before. The class was quiet as they witnessed my change in demeanor. The atmosphere within the class began to shift. The rain hitting the pavement and class window intensified. The sounds of heavy gusts of wind threatened to take down the school, and the sound of thunder roared as flashes of lightning were visible through the cracks within the window blinds. Slowly standing up, I walked towards Andre without a clue of what my intentions were. He backs away. "Sorry, man, I didn't mean it. It was an accident." Within that instant, my mouth moves and words come out. However, they weren't my words, and it wasn't my voice.
No. You were an accident, Andre. You're the reason your parents got a divorce. You're the reason there's a rift between them. And you know it. You're taking out your anger on me when you should be taking it out on yourself.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll never mess with you again. Please. Andre says, sensing something was not right. However, I continue to approach him.
No, I've given you all chance after chance after chance to change, to leave me alone. But that hasn't worked. Now, it's time I fight back. You'll never touch me or look at me again. No one will ever hurt me again.
In the blink of an eye, an enormous strike of lightning comes through the school building ceiling and strikes Andre in the head. His eyes glow, his body shakes violently within each passing second, and he screams in pain. I stand just a couple of feet away, watching as the class screams in fear. No longer were they laughing, as the smell of Andre's body filled the classroom air. Eventually, after his eyes had imploded, and after his body had sustained third-degree burns, the lightning retracted back into the sky, and Andre's unconscious body collapsed to the floor. He wasn't dead, but when he woke up, he'd wish he was. I picked up the remains of my glasses and sat back at my desk. The students ran out the classroom screaming about what I had done, screaming that I was a monster. But with no proof of what the students claimed they saw, there were no charges brought against me. My parents thought about transferring me to another school, but ended up agreeing that it was good that they were afraid of me, and that moving me to another school may result in the bullying happening once again. An incident like that hasn't happened since. Not being bullied was great, but the most fruitful thing that came out of that incident were my conversations with the rain. The rain comforts me. The rain guides me. And the rain guards me. Now and always. If you are ever alone within the darkness of this world, look to the rain and do not be afraid.
Beyond